Welcome back to Cosmic Conversations. You are tapping into the root of the symmetry. I'm your boy, Tahuti Trismegistus, and today's question is a very special question. I love this question. I'm excited. I didn't even Google or anything in preparation of this question because it could be very easy for me to want to give scientific answers. I don't. This is all spiritual. All science is only possible because of the spirit. So, today's question is, what is DMT and why is it so awesome? You can Google DMT. It's called the spirit molecule for the reasons that we're about to get into right now. Okay, DMT, so beautiful, changed my life, gave me my awakening, high key. And it gave me my awakening when I smoked it. And then I started smoking it a lot. It's interesting because the whole powerful thing about DMT is your body produces it, specifically when you're fasting. So it's important for you to be aware that DMT is not a drug. It actually naturally occurs in your body. And what's going on is just that the way we live suppresses the amount of DMT that our bodies naturally produce. So now we are just out of touch with the spirit, basically. Because DMT being the spirit molecule, and us being spirits having a human experience, our human bodies are supposed to be producing higher levels of DMT so that we can be tapped into ourselves and that we can see the world and see where it's being made from in a much greater way versus being sober, which is really having the DMT beaten out of you, and then you're just filled with sugar and alcohol and other, pharmaceutical drugs, dense physical things that just make the world more dull, gray, and harder. So this is the thing about the spirit molecule. This is the thing about DMT. The way that white supremacists have structured the lifestyles of everyone on the globe, where we're just sitting all day, every day, we're eating meat and flour and sugar and all these unhealthy processed foods that are full of heavy metals because they were made from the Industrial Revolution. And then those heavy metals have a whole effect on our body, and our body just accumulates and holds on to these metals. That is how a lot of disease is just occurring so rampantly right now because of the Industrial Revolution, because of heavy metals, because of us sitting all the time, everywhere, no matter what we go, we're just boom, sitting, looking down. That is ruining our body's ability to communicate with itself, and that directly reflects in the production of DMT. So chi and DMT, all right, it's all about see what you see, what you can envision, who you can communicate with even. And so everyone who really hasn't done DMT, they are stuck only seeing the world from the perspective that the people who have stopped them from doing DMT want them to see it. It's pretty wild, like, to really think about it, how DMT is a Scheduled 1 controlled substance, yet it's naturally occurring in the synapses of your brain. So when I was doing my fast in Chicago, like my 24-day water fast, like at the end, and I went to the convention and I did 2.5 tabs of acid, I was on DMT. Like I was already tripping at that point. And I didn't realize how it was DMT back then. I only realized that it was like that thing being produced in my body when I smoked it. Because when you smoke it, you can just get way more than your body will produce. And what it does basically with DMT being the spirit molecule, it allows your Merkaba, your mind, your mental spaceship that's piloting this body tool to let you navigate this world, it allows it to fly away and go anywhere else and communicate and do anything. It's so infinite. It's wild. Like, it's true, just infinite communication. That is the point of DMT. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, if they want to talk to you. So and then we can see that that's just a point of life, isn't it? Like everything that if you start doing DMT, once you're seeing it in the astral realms, in those higher realms, you'll see how it manifests down here. And then all the spiritual stuff that I'm kicking will make way more sense on a very physical level to you because you saw it. Like all this stuff of like, okay, first we're nothing, and then we have our imaginations, and then we have our feelings about our imaginations, and then once we feel like connecting our imaginations to others, boom, that's the astral realm. And then once we ignite our first imaginations that allowed us to connect into that astral realm, now we have chi. And now we are all creating our own chi based on how we're communicating inside of the waters that we chose to connect in. And then from there, everything that comes out of chi over time solidifies and stabilizes those communications. And that is the point of Earth. So, boom. I'm saying DMT gave me this, bro. All right? And fasting was just the preparation for it. Fasting is just so physical. I'm dealing with being in downtown Chicago and still being around a lot of metal. I mean, I'm right in the city. I'm I'm dealing with a bunch of people who are just telling me how wrong I am and how I shouldn't be doing it, and just all this pressure from friends and family in my workplace to stop. And I just knew I had to because I wanted to meet God. And God ended up being my higher self, Irisel, that I've been talking to since 6th grade anyway. And it was only on DMT that I was able to actually physically leave this body and experience my spirit and experience my space and experience the things that I had built for my home in the astral realm versus here. And being able to go back there over and over did so much for me. I literally would not be able to be the person that I am today if I did not take all those ventures last summer. That was the last summer where I started doing all that. Only after fasting bunches and bunches throughout college. And I mean, good amount of acid and everything. And I mean, shrooms, no, I was doing acid way before shrooms. So shout out DMT. Acid is sort of a lower form of DMT anyway. So that's where it's acid is you're not trying to leave your body. You want to bring the DMT world here. Then yeah, you can do acid and see all the, at least for me, sacred geometry and just numbers and holographic details and just how intricate everything is in the environment. And then see oh, macro, micro, it's all, So DMT is wild. This is why it's called the spirit molecule. It gets you in touch with your spirit. It keeps you in touch with God. So if an entity wants to play God in your in your likeness, man, in your life, if a God wants to play, everyone's God. If an entity wants to play God, though, because the point of God is that God is the creator. That's it. Anytime we're talking about God, I just okay, creator. And most people are not aware that they're creating their reality. So people that are looking to God for help, it's because they don't feel like they're creating their reality. And they feel like they need help and they're not responsible. And that this thing has a greater power than them. And so it can come in and fill up their space with its ginormous cock rock. So this is where DMT, getting you in touch with God, allows you to actually realize that you are the one creating your reality. And it allows you to viscerally remember, get in touch with who you were before you created this body. Because that was my thing. That's where I was just okay, but who was I before I was born into this world? And the white supremacists labeled me as Chase, basically, based on my birth certificate. Of course, I'm talking about my family, but the fact that we're using English, no, white supremacists. I'm using English right now. It's all just about coming into the world and using the labels that everyone is lost in to relate your infinite imagination. That's what life is in all realms and all realities. That's just how it always must and will go. You have to purposely limit yourself in a world to relate with others when you're all unlimited. And then that's how you can just like keep building shit, and then we'll like expand and stuff, and it's lit. And then the point of a twin flame or a soulmate is someone that you connect with on that deeper water fire level, on that invisible level. Someone that you connect with beyond lifetimes, like in a way that's like really sustainable and special. Like me to do this. So this is where DMT, being super awesome, is a spirit molecule, gets you in touch with your spirit. You realize that the spirit is a creator. You realize that you are the body, are the creation, and that you as the mind are mediating these things. So it's about you. It's you. You are the center of your universe. Everything is mental. And then that's where Irisel got to really show me, and I got to start talking with other spirits and everything. Like, yeah, bro, you are Thoth, you are Hermes. And I just like had to keep being humble about that. Just because of how this world like has set it up, where I'm just like, I don't want to be saying I'm anything, because you know, nothing and stuff. But the point of having creations is to anchor your nothingness. So it's like, yeah, well, I mean, this is the point. Like, I would be stupid. I would be super stupid. Insanely, infinitely beyond horribly unintelligent to believe in what the white supremacists who stole everything from my cultures in Egypt and Mesoamerica are saying about me, and how I'm just like, whatever, a meat sack that's limited to this life, or I'm just consciousness or whatever, as if I didn't create consciousness. Like, you're capping right now. So DMT allows you to not get lost. This is the point. When you know that you are the one creating your reality, it doesn't matter what realm you go into, because you're in touch with yourself. It's like a ultimate spirit tether. So you can never get lost. Like, there's no distance and stuff. Like, it's all here. Like, when you know that as a spirit, then that allows you to have that super speed like Hermes or whatever. Because it's just that awareness of knowing that everything's happening at once, and it's all happening inside of spirit. And when you're in tune with your spirit, you can navigate the world like that. Versus if you're just in tune with your body, you think you're the physical body, and now all of your creations and the way you navigate the world's from there. And then that's where you need to buy a car. Because now the white supremacists have stolen the land and paved over it, and now you can't grow your own food, and the only way you can navigate the world after they forced you to sit for so much is to be further a slave on their system, so that you can buy some heavy metal vehicle and learn how to operate it on the roads that, again, they paved over lands that they stole. So it's all about that higher perspective. DMT, being the spirit molecule, gives you that infinitely higher perspective. The spirit being no thing, it cannot get lost in anyone's imagination. Because this is the thing with white supremacy, or just like spiritual colonialism in general. Someone telling you that you're a part of their imagination and you have no choice in that. Like Billy Carson is saying that I said that in the Emerald Tablets. And look, not his fault. It is, or I don't know, maybe it is. But the thing is, the people who stole my tablets, this is the point of me making tablet talks, are Christianizing them. They're only going to release them in the same way that they want people to follow Christianity. So they're literally only going to use the truth of what I say to push their lie, which is that you are whack, you're not good enough on your own. Blackness is ignorance. You should hate yourself, basically, until you connect to source. And then that's where everything's about source consciousness. And that's what I'm talking about with this colonization, with the one idea thing. So what these entities who want to colonize your mind will do is colonize my creations, colonize what I do, and say, oh, okay, he says everyone is an infinite individual. Let's say that everyone is part of our infinite individual. And let's say he said that. So now they're telling you in English through all these multiple ways that I, as Tahuti Trismegistus, am relaying the message that we're all part of one consciousness. Colonialism, bro. Yeah, not about it here. You are nothing. So, spirit molecule. Consciousness is not spirit. Like, it's so, the spirit is nothing. Like, this is literally you being nothing. That's the zero. And then the one is your imagination. The fact that you can say, I'm not a part of your imagination, the moment someone says that you are, it shows that you're actually an individual. But the thing is, we are all nothing. This is why we can then create infinite universes and do anything. And it all appears like a multiverse and like super separate based on your awareness. But when you know you're a spirit, you're connected, bro. And when you're connected to your own spirit, you can communicate with anything, any other spirit in all the air. That's the point of Hermes. That's the point of Thoth having the ibis head. That is the point of rocking the birds and being heralds of communication, being messengers of truth. Shout out Anubis again. Love him very much. So, this is why DMT is super essential and awesome. It breaks you out the simulation and you can go anywhere and do anything. The thing is, of course, that sounds, especially if you're a spirit that made this body because you're running from yourself. And I've learned in my life that this is sadly most people on earth. Where they are spirits that made bodies not because they came here to express something, to help people or something in a simulation, but because they came here because they don't want to be alone. And now they want to consume everything inside this world. And these are the spirits who are easily manipulatable, right? This is why we fast. All right, spirits who are in their ego, always thinking about what's next to eat, they don't even care about what to eat then. That's where we get into the idea of like cops being pigs and America being full of pigs and really America being obsessed with pigs. And pigs being the ones that possibly brought smallpox to all the indigenous peoples before Europeans met them and made it possible for Europeans to take over the land based on how they were actually interacting with like the last 10% of the population that survived from the smallpox that the pigs brought. This would be when the Europeans landed in Central America first, and then they released their pigs and their other animals because they would have pigs to like hunt with. And then the pigs ran up into North America and brought all the diseases and bacteria, all the bacteria, that gross stuff from their industrial revolution lifestyle into indigenous lands. And then it was up to all of them to like die and like evolve, change through that. And then that's where we possibly have documented American history, because the Europeans then were able to interact with all the natives that were left. And then they're able to learn that smallpox is what killed all the natives that were there first. And then that's where they come up with the rationalization, we must be God's people because we are so sickly, we kill the people we meet. That's literally how America was made, bro. That's literally how America was made. So this is the same America that's telling you not to do DMT. And it's like, well, DMT is naturally produced in my body. So they're saying, well, don't do your body. Do our body. And our body looks like you being forced to sit in school all the time. You being forced to sit in school and learn lies about yourself and your people so that you can be a good enough slave to go sit in a workplace and give up all of your life to build their body. You're literally using your body to build their body. Your ability to communicate to build their world. All because they stole the lands that if you were born into with indigenous peoples, they would be like, yo, welcome. Like, you're a fellow spirit. That's lit. We've got systems for your growth. We've got hella awesome things going on here. That's how, when you're rolling with me, that's how it is. With my soul group, that's how it is. So like, that's how it's supposed to be. You know, like I'm the center of my universe. You're having the same exact experience I am. Like, this is the point of empathy. Everyone is a center of their universe. But if you're rolling, especially with me, like, and just indigenous peoples in general, if you make a planet, I'm not making an earth and having people come in just to enslave them. You know, like, that's... So it takes special spirits then, like true colonizer spirits see creator spirits, the indigenous black spirits, because everything comes out of blackness. That's why the cosmos are black. Everything comes out of blackness. And when they see spirits then creating pretty lights coming out of this blackness, all they want to do is come over and colonize it and then consume everything that those spirits were creating. And the best way to control a spirit's mind is to use their own creation against them. Because it's already vibrating at their frequency, at their spirit. Because you as a spirit, you can never really vibrate at the same frequency of another spirit. The point of us creating worlds is so that we can do it together and learn how to level up together. But you can never actually. That's why we're like different. Everyone's different. The moment we expressed our imaginations, that was the point of us going from being the same to being different. And it's like weird, that balance, because the spirit, all of us as spirits are paradoxes. Like we are all simultaneously the same, yet simultaneously individual. And the part of us that feels the same, as we can see in what plays out in nature, would be our emotions. That's what connects us. And then our imaginations, our dreams, our thoughts are what separate us. So the whole point of me expressing myself as Thoth, as thought, as Tehuti, is that I'm separate. I'm separate from everybody. I'm separate from all of you. You know, like I am a separate spirit. Like I purposely have gone through this lifetime of being brainwashed by school and church day in and day out so that I can empathize with the idea of not being separate. And like you're just forced to be a part of something that you are forced to learn is greater than you. And now your whole life is just constantly being in this chaotic state of learning about how this horrible genocidal maniac is greater than you. And then you're only using all of your infinite imagination to build their thing anyway. So that's how they get you. So this is the point of doing DMT. All right, you will tap into your spirit, your individual God, the true you, the you that made your body and actually has your greatest intentions, your greatest everything in mind. That's who you want to talk to. That's why we fast, and that's why we do DMT. Peace. Mwah, mwah. Enjoy your life. Yeah.